And away from that, the National Assembly has lined up a host of proposals seeking to repeal the Public Officers Ethics Act of 2003 that, if enacted, will be a game changer in the fight against corruption or at least slow down the vice. Now, among the proposed legislation is that every public officer shall submit to EACC a declaration of income, assets and liabilities of himself, his spouse or spouses, and his dependent children under the age of 18 years. Also, the person shall, in a periodic or final declaration, provide information on any material change in or changes that will include changes in marital status. Duncan Khaimba has more on that report.
The raft of radical proposals are contained in this Conflict of Interest Bill 2023, which is likely to cause conflict or get resistance in the run-up to its passage in the event it garners majority support on the floor. The bill, which was published by Majority Leader Anthony Kimani Ichung'wah, says a public officer is in conflict of interest if the officer exercises official power, duty or function to further his private interests or private interest of another person or his family, relative or associate. Also, if the officer is in a situation where the private interest of the public officer can reasonably be perceived to impair or influence the public officer's ability to act objectively in the performance of an official duty, or has private interests that could conflict with the duties of the public officer in future. A public officer who accepts an offer outside employment shall, within 7 days of acceptance, disclose his acceptance of the offer in writing to the Commission, EACC, and to the reporting authority. With regard to compliance measures likely to generate heat if the law is enacted, is that every public officer shall submit to the Commission a declaration of income, assets and liabilities of himself, his spouse or spouses, and his dependent children under the age of 18 years. A public officer shall, in a periodical or final declaration, provide information on any material change in or changes affecting any of the categories of income, assets or liabilities in the schedule of mandatory declarations that have occurred within 2-year period to the declaration. Material change in this case means at least 25% increase or decrease in the value of an income, asset or liability, the disposal or acquisition of an asset or liability, changes in marital status. Every public officer shall, once in every 2 years within the period of service, submit a declaration relating to the financial affairs as at 1st of November of the declaration year, and such declaration shall be made public within the month of December next following. On complaints and conducts of investigations, the bill proposes that a person who alleges that a public officer has contravened any provision of the Act may lodge a complaint with the reporting authority or the Commission, and the report shall be recorded in a register of complaints. For instance, on June 12, the Global Intelligence, Surveillance and Tactical Prime Cryptologist Sanio Branson tweeted that they had discovered critical information of foreign assets of former 11 Kenyan cabinet secretaries and 45 corporate executives valued at $8.5 billion, stating that they had granted President William Ruto the read-only data access. The same is claimed to have been granted to immediate former President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2018. In such a scenario of whistleblowing, the Kimani Ichung'wah bill that is seeking to repeal the Public Officer Ethics Act 2003 says in Clause 55 that no criminal or civil proceedings shall lie against the Commission or any person acting on behalf of the Commission for anything done, reported, or said in good faith in the exercise of any power or the performance of any function of the Commission under the Act. Duncan Haimba, NTV.
All right, and that report by Duncan Haimba takes us on our first break here.